today we're going to find out how Sentinels got absolutely destroyed by NRG. And we're going to start off here with round number 6. And this is quite a bit of a chaotic, crazy round. Sentinels are going to play quite slow. Let's talk about some things going on early on in this round, though. So you can see NRG there on the defensive side. They've got this Killjoy setup here over towards A. And this is one thing that I liked that NRG did, that they didn't just go for the, oh, we're going to always put a turret in kitchen and we're going to always put the alarm bot here, right? And that's going to be the same every single round. I like it when teams mix it up a bit more, right? Become a bit more unpredictable, you know, change it up based on whatever you're doing. And they were going for this little double push. This was something they did in a couple rounds as well, where they had Artis and Victor here on KO, you know, come and flash out and kind of, you know, start to look for that information. Basically, you know, check, is anyone, you know, actually trying to lurk up mid, potentially later on in the round. Now, Sentinels play this round pretty slow, as you will see in just a second. And Crashy's actually, again, because they don't have this Killjoy set up in mid, he comes and drones himself and sees that, yeah, we're still kind of sitting in spawn. And so with a minute or so left on the clock, Sentinels decide that this is their time, that they are going to group up A and start to come towards this A site. Now, FNS has Killjoy lockdown, and I don't really know what the, you know, why he popped it when he did. I don't know if he heard someone or, you know, how he knew necessarily, or if it was just a guess. I don't quite know. But he decides to pop his Killjoy lockdown. Maybe he did hear something because the rotates come in. And, well, obviously it does stop Sentinels. And so now the time starts to get a bit lower. And Sentinels start to come towards this A site. Now, what's going to happen here is Tenz is about to destroy this alarm bot. But we're going to see that this round, I think, is a pretty good example of what went wrong for Sentinels kind of as a whole. Because he's going to destroy the alarm bot, and now he's going to jump up onto the platform and almost be ready in kind of a fighting stance, right? As soon as you come onto this platform here, not only can you seen by where Crashies is, right, but you've just destroyed the alarm bot as well. So it's very possible that anyone could be, you know, swinging from this kind of angle, or maybe even behind this box, right? It's possible that a fight is incoming pretty soon, but no one from Sentinels has actually used any util at this point. So you destroyed the alarm bot, so they know that you're there. But also you know, the dart is about to come out and the harbor wall is about to come out, right? And so it's just, you know, all a bit off. There you see the dart comes out, and now you start to see that the harbor wall is coming in from Def. They do manage to get the trade, but unfortunately then Zekken does get traded back as well by FNS. So we end up in a 3v4, and now obviously the time is starting to really tick down quite low, so they go for their own Killjoy lockdown. But Artis is going to put up a Sage Wall, and from this Sage Wall, now it gets obviously just a bit hectic, where kind of NRG need to take fights within the next couple seconds, but Pancada does really well and manages to find those kills, so we end up in a 2v2. Okay, 2v2, you get the spike down just there, and in fact, Pancada even finds the kill on Victor as well. And now here's the thing, we end up in a 2v1, some actually shoots there, so they probably have some idea that he's, you know, somewhere around, potentially hearing the bullet or his footsteps or whatever. But now you're going to see, I mean, Sassy and Pancada, you know, there's no excuse really, because these two have played together for an eternity, right? These two have been on the same team for a really, really long time. But again, you see the kind of disconnect, it seems, where Sassy is going to end up swinging out in just a second when Pancada is turning around and putting an alarm bot down. And I don't know if this Pancada is just uncomfortable in Killjoy and doesn't quite, you know, fully have the understanding of, you know, when to use his util in situations like this, or you know, if this is Sassy's fault for swinging out before Pancada's ready, or whatever. I don't know whose fault this is, but the thing is, they're on different pages, right? Because you'll see, as Sassy's dying, Pancada's turning around and putting an alarm bot down. So, you know, that's obviously not ideal. And they get punished for it, right? And this was the thing. Sentinels were on different pages quite often. A lot of these rounds were pretty close, but it just felt like when it really mattered, Sentinels would be on a different page and NRG would punish them for it. And that just kept happening over and over and over and over again. And here we get a good example of it where, yeah, Sentinels in a 2v1 are on different pages and some manages to win the clutch. Okay, now let's come to the very next round, round number 7, and this one's going to start off with a bit of a weird thing as well, where Tenz comes on top of Tube just here, but again, they're going for that same play, NRG, and so they flash out, and I don't know if they could hear Tenz, you know, jumping on top of the box, but kind of a weird situation where Victor kills him, but then actually Zekken manages to trade it for Artis. So, okay, we're in a 4v4, and again, that's not a bad thing for Sentinels. And even better, Pancada manages to get that kill on Crashies just there. So we're in a 3v4. This is a very bizarre round from this point on, and really, when you look at the map, it seems like Sentinels should definitely win this round. Not only are they in a 4v3, this KO knife then misses that Sassy is already ahead of the KO knife, and so they start to come in towards B. These two actually lurk up to kitchen, and there's the killjoy setups on A, so there's nothing telling them that they are there. And I don't know what happens here. I don't know if Zekken just has a massive whiff. We don't really see his perspective or what's going on. But, I mean, I don't know if that's Victor doing a double take there when he looks and then looks back. Seems like Zekken should, like, always be getting this kill. You know, he has a big advantage. But somehow, Victor is able to win it. I'm not sure if he whiffed or if he just, you know, shot and missed Victor, and then Victor had the time to turn around. I honestly don't know what happened. We didn't really get the POV. And so we end up in a 3v3. But still, Def is here as well, and so they have the second look that they don't expect. They pop a Viper Spit, and we're about to talk in this about this Viper Spit in just a second. But Def is coming behind them, and in a second, he's going to find a free kill on Victor just there. So, okay. We got that free kill. We just walked all the way through kitchen. And at this point in the round, you're thinking, well, I mean, surely they're going to win. I mean, there's 35 seconds left. And what I don't understand is, you know, they've got this turret here that's, you know, checking if Som is kind of walking forward. They become fixated on this Viper's Pit. They are like a young child with, you know, a game that they like, a YouTube video of a game that they like. Sentinels from this point on with this Viper's Pit. They all just stare at it. And just keep staring at it. And it's all like they almost forget that FNS exists, it seems like, because they just stare at this pit and it's like, wow. And I don't know why. To me, what I thought they were going to do in the moment was, you know, just walk around it and just come and plant back here. You know, you've already taken kitchen control. You know, all three of you could just walk around it and force some to come to you, essentially, right? And just guard the spike plant and go for that. But instead, they're just going to stare at this Viper's Pit. And as I said, they completely kind of forget where FNS is. We know that FNS is coming on the flank, but even if he was coming back this way, it's like he's getting, like, everyone is just so focused on it that it seems like they forget about him. And so, yeah, it's a very bizarre situation. And then they, you know, slowly walk around. They start spamming bullets. And again, they're still just staring at the pit. They've been staring at this pit now for a good, like, 10 to 12 seconds. You know, and then they slowly walk into the pit. And Def dies. And now the turret doesn't see FNS. And now Som comes out of the pit and manages to find a second kill there on Sassy. And now Pancada tries to plant with only 11 seconds left. Out in the open, again, kind of forgetting the FNS. I mean, if he comes either way, right? If he's come from Snowman, this is a kill. If he's come on the flank, this is a kill, right? Either way, this was a kill for FNS. So he plants out in the open as well. And yeah, I honestly could not tell you what was really going on in that round. But again, you just see that it's like, we're just... I mean, I guess they were on the same page in that round to just stare at the pit, but I honestly don't know really what was going on in that round and what they were coming and what was kind of going on, because it seems so bizarre what just happened in that round. And then let's come to round 8. I mean, these 3 rounds back to back are painful for Sentinels to lose, where again, this round starts off actually not too bad for Sentinels. They actually get the first kill in this round and you're like, okay, we're on the path to victory. And then they use 3 pretty big ults in this round as well, but they're still not able to close it out because of pretty significant mistakes. So let's take a look here as in just a second, Pancada is about to find a gunfight with Artis, and he's going to win that gunfight and set Sentinels up, and he's just on his own as well, right? So he's in a bit of a vulnerable position, but he manages to find this first kill. All is well, all is good here for Sentinels. There you go, Pancada finds the first kill. It's a great time. Now, Tenz is trying to take some B main control, but everyone else has kind of left him at this point, and NRG just decide to quickly, okay, we've lost a kill there, let's get aggressive over here. You know, we've heard some noise, we've heard the harbor wall come out, and FNS manages to punish Tenz there, but hey, still a 4v4, and they decide to come over towards B. Now, whilst they are coming over towards, they're coming towards A. Whilst they're coming over towards A, I just want to note that FNS, right, pushed up here, got this kill, and then very quickly, everyone from Sentinels was kind of already here, and then very quickly, they decided to come towards A. I just want you to keep that in mind for what is going to happen later on in this round, okay? Because what they're going to do is they're going to come towards this A site, and as I said, they're going to use, you know, some big ults in this round. They send in the harbor wall just there, they send in a killjoy lockdown from Pancada as well, and in they start to come, and they're gonna put a Viper's Pit down on the site as well. There you go. There's the Viper's Pit. They get the spike down. You're like, okay, 4v4, Killjoy lockdown. And Crashies even does them a favor here by forgetting the Killjoy lockdown where it ends and getting detained. So they even get that advantage as well, that Crashies gets detained as well. So they're in a 3v4 for a bit of time as well. Pancata, you can see, is watching this angle. Okay, and remember, he hasn't had there hasn't been any turret destroyed or anything like that over here, okay? He actually still has the turret right now. He's put his alarm bot down here, and he's watching back on this angle, right? For whatever reason, he's going to turn around. And this is, I just don't understand, right? One, you've just had a Killjoy lockdown, right? So, I mean, they have nothing to do, right? Like, I mean, they'd just be twiddling their thumbs back here. So, you know, I mean, it's not unexpected that, hey, we've got nowhere else to go. Maybe let's, you know, come and use the time that the Killjoy lockdown is off to come on the flank instead, right? We've also seen them get aggressive and get this kill, and everyone from Sentinels very quickly pivoted over here. So there's really no reason why they couldn't have potentially even followed you back through, right? That actually didn't happen. They did actually come back and come this way. But, you know, again, we've seen them push up on B and get aggressive. So the fact that he's not checking this and not looking and doesn't have a turret down or an alarm bot or anything like that, I mean, that's just kind of unacceptable, to be honest. And then as well, you know, now that we know someone's coming on the flank, Zekken here gets spotted and they send in the harbor ult, which again, you would think would make it pretty difficult for NRG, you know, to have to be moving about and all of that. Zekken then decides to go up the rope. And this again is something that when you know that someone is on the flank, right? And yeah, they have actually come up here, but they could have come up into Nest and come across the rope, and or it would be, you know, pretty normal here for NRG against this Viper's Pit to come up the rope and come this way and then jump into the middle of it rather than, you know, kind of slowly walk on the outsides. It's a pretty common play as well. Coming taking this rope and just coming up is kind of bizarre, and yeah, FNS just kills him straight away. And you know, he was just staring into two people, and then they do actually come up that rope as well. You see Victor has done exactly what I just said and jumps into the pit, and then they find these last two kills as well. And so yeah, you see some of the things that were going on for Sentinels, and it was just like, I don't know, it just felt like they were just on completely separate pages. And you know, I don't know what their comms were like and whatnot, but it couldn't have been that great because they were making a lot of pretty big mistakes. And then let's finish here with round number 12, where if you're gonna play bad, NRG, you know, played a pretty good game here, and they were gonna put it on Sentinels by the end of this. I mean, this round just starts off with some just like big ball in this, essentially, you know, running past this harbor cascade here and just saying, I'm gonna win this fight, and I don't care if there's two people there, if there's three people there, I'm just better in this game. And he kills Tenz there, and then, you know, does the smart thing, doesn't overheat, runs back, and we start off the round in a nice way for NRG. But then what they're about to do is really, really cool, because what's going to happen from this point on is the drone sees Sassy here in mid. We'll get to that in just a second, but you can see them start to come up with this plan in just a second, where they're going to go for this KO flash and this double swing, right, with the Killjoy and the Viper just here. And so you see they get set up in the right position for it. You see that these guys start lurking up. The flash gets thrown just there, and now this is just a thing of beauty. The double swing there, and they managed to get one, they managed to get two, and Crashies even decides, oh, there's people there that you can see. Oh, let me just send in a Sova ult as well, just to add insult to injury. And so even though Zekken does get that kill, he then gets killed by the Sova ult. Really, really good stuff by NRG. And this is what it looks like when a team is on the same page, right? When a good team full of good players is on the same page, and, you know, they're doing stuff together and they understand what each other are doing, you know, it can look very, very good, like it did for NRG. And then Victor, you know, they have that awareness from the drones, seeing Sassy kind of being towards mid before. You know, they have that awareness already that he could be in mids. You know, throws a really good KO knife that gets a kill. And then Artist will eventually finish that one off just there. And it was a really good showing by NRG, don't get me wrong. But as I kind of alluded to in some of these rounds, Sentinels had the chance to make this game competitive if they wanted to, but then it felt like they would get into a good position and then make a massive blunder, and then NRG would go on and win the round.